Welcome to the Mothering with Jesus podcast, where we are real and raw about the ups and downs of motherhood and where we rally together to become the mothers that God intended us to be. This week's episode is with Alexia Wilson. She is a health and fitness coach. She helps her clients to count macros and to come up with their fitness goals, and also helps create workout routines for them, which is so fabulous. All of her information is linked down in the show notes, and you can find her and connect with her there or on her Instagram, which is also in the show notes. As much as we'd like to think that there was just a one size answer for health and fitness, there is not. And it is so awesome to figure out what small changes, what big changes you can make to really make improvements on your health. This episode was so fun to record and chat with Alexia. You are going to love it. She is frank with us. She tells us how it is. Sometimes we just need to put on our big girl panties and do the hard thing. And it's going to be worth it in the end. So enjoy.
If you've been around here for a minute, you know how much I love my Oliveda skincare. This is a clean, waterless beauty company that has been in Europe for 20 years and now sells in the United States. I absolutely love it. It has changed my skin drastically. It has helped fine lines and wrinkles to go away. It has helped my hydration. I used to have really flaky skin, and obviously, my skin is not perfect. There's no product that's going to make you be perfect, ladies, okay? But I do believe in investing in high quality skincare, and I absolutely love this product. If you have any questions about what you should be using, then reach out to me, and you can shop with me in the link in the description. All right, Alexia, welcome. Thank you for doing this with us. Alexia and I grew up together, and so this is fun to connect with you again. I remember being in Miss Holbrook's class together in second grade.
Oh my
and
gosh.
She would get us confused because she said we looked alike, which
That's
I
so
don't really
funny.
see it, but funny little memory.
Just like blonde little girls, I'm sure.
Exactly.
That's so funny. It's funny you remember that. Yeah. No, it's been a long time.
Yes. So tell us where you're living and about your children and a little background about you.
Okay. Yeah. So I am in Provo still. We grew up in Provo. I'm still here. I love it. I have 3 little kids now. I have 2 daughters, an 8-year-old, a 4-year-old, and then I just had my son. He's 5 months. So busy.
I can't believe you're already
busy
5
with
months.
kids.
I feel like
I
you just
know.
had
That's how I feel too. And I'm like, I always tell Bentley, like, if the 5 months or 6 months, after having a baby went as fast as like 6 months worth of pregnancy, like I'd
Oh
probably
my
have more
gosh.
kids. Like,
Right?
it's just the pregnancy
Why?
like does not go by nearly as fast as you wish it would compared to when they're
Yes.
here. But yeah, so I married my high school sweetheart. We both went to Timpview. We started dating when I was a senior, and then he was getting ready to go on a mission, and right at the same time he got his mission call is when they made the age change for sisters. And so all of a sudden it was like, this is an option for me. And so I
Yes.
jumped on it. I know, like everyone our age, it's like, it's crazy. Anyway, so I jumped on it. I served my mission in England and then
That's
came
right.
home, and we got married like 4 months later.
Oh, yay. Cute. That's so fun.
I know. It's been so good. And even that, like, it's gone by so fast. Like, life is just crazy.
I know. My husband and I just had our 10-year. You guys probably are right around the same.
Yeah.
And it's wild. I'm like, what? 10 years?
Like, I don't feel old enough for this.
I know. I'm still 12. That's crazy.
No, 100%. Yeah.
Okay.
So after we got married, I went to culinary school. And
Yes.
so I did culinary school, and I knew I kind of wanted to tie it into nutrition somehow and healthy eating and, that type of lifestyle.
Yeah.
So after I finished culinary school, I went through the School of Integrative Nutrition. And then just recently, it's been like 4 years now, I did something called Precision One Nutrition, which is more exercise, fitness focused nutrition. And then from there, I was like, well, maybe I should just jump on the fitness side of things too. And so I started getting my certifications and courses for the actual exercise side of things. And try to just combine everything into one. And it's been a long journey to get here, but it's kind of just naturally progressed, from one thing to the next. So yeah, now I run a fitness coaching company, and I just help women kind of through all phases of life, is like what I like to say, is because the habits we build should never be for like this short period of time or for one specific goal. Like I believe that the habits we build should be able to carry us through every season with, little adjustments. Like you just deal with what you have going on, but you should be able to lean back on these certain habits.
Yeah, I love that. I love that you've been able to combine like all of your loves and, be able to do the food and the fitness together. And you talked in a recent post about how your last pregnancy versus having your little baby boy were drastically different. And you just said what you mentioned just barely, that your habits now can carry you through the next season, which I absolutely love, because as a mother, so I'm the youngest in my family, and I have a couple of older sisters who are now done having children. And, I've talked to them a lot and said to them at other times, like, I cannot wait to just like be done having children and know I don't have to go through the up and down again, which I think is always going to be the case. Like, it's hard to be pregnant, but also I just love this new perspective of just like, you don't have to totally lose it every single pregnancy.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. It's like after I had my girls, so like after my second pregnancy, I just like in my brain was like, I do not have the genetics that are like bounce back. Like I
Bounce
just
back.
don't have that. That's just not me. Like I have to work really hard to like bounce back,
Yeah.
which I feel like is so common, but you just, Instagram and the world
Yeah.
and even like I have family members that they're like, oh, I breastfeed and the weight just falls off. And I'm like,
I know.
that's not me.
That was my mother. Like, she always said,
Oh
like,
my
I
gosh.
just, after 8 babies, my mom, like every
Yeah.
single one was still just like, I just breastfed and it was fine. And I breastfeed my babies. Like my last one, I just barely weaned at 2 years old. Like we breastfeed for a long time. But this 4th baby, like because of hormones and different things, like it was a whole different ball game trying to get the weight off.
Totally. Yeah. And that's how I am. I'm just like, that does not come naturally. And so after I had Margot, my second, I was like, I have to do something. Like, I don't care if I'm going to get pregnant again. Like, I have to figure this out.
Yeah.
And so, basically the last 4 years, kind of through my own fitness journey and through, doing all my certifications kind of at the same time, I've focused on eating enough food, building muscle, and kind of establishing these habits that are not so much focused around weight loss, but can be applied to weight loss. I really focused on figuring out like what those habits look like for me and my family. I feel like that's a big thing, is like,
Yeah.
what works for one person may not work for another. And it's kind of just this like science experiment of figuring out like what works best for you. And I even tell my clients like, okay, you love to cook. Great. Let's lean into that. You don't love to cook. Okay, great. What are our options? Like everyone's different. Anyway, so I focused on all of these things, and I've learned, and I'm continuing to learn, because even coming out of this 3rd pregnancy, I find myself like surprising myself, like, wow, I can't believe how different this is this time around. And I think, one, the amount of muscle I built, like I've started to tell clients, like building muscle is the goal that you may not realize you have right now.
Yeah.
because when they think of building muscle, they have certain ideas in their head and they don't think it applies to them. But then when they tell me what they, what they want to look like or what their goals are, I'm like, well, guess what?
You're like, it's
That's
muscle.
putting muscle on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I know it sounds crazy, but that's what that is.
Yeah.
And so
Well, I
building
love
muscle.
too that like that muscle is what is going to change you over the years, right?
Mhm.
Like I read a post ages ago now that I loved, and it just talked about like the muscle that you build in your 20s and your 30s, like that's foundational for when you're 70.
Oh,
And,
100%.
although we all want to look like beautiful and snatched right now, like the goal is actually to be walking as long as possible when we
100%.
are 80 and 90, and to be able to living on our own as much as possible. You're just like gaining so much health with these habits that you are creating now. But the muscle, it like, whether you're gaining weight on top or not of that as you're up and down with pregnancy, like that muscle is just so helpful. And it feels so like I'm not a strong person yet. I'm working on it. But it makes a big difference in your daily life if you're strong.
Oh my gosh, 100%. And again, it's like, I think people don't even realize, and I like read something recently as well, that it was like after 30 is when you start losing, like, I don't know what it was,
you
a certain percentage of muscle. I'm like, we are not in that category yet. Like, I do not feel old enough to be having to worry about that.
Right?
Which is
Aging.
crazy. I know. But I also find that, and again, like I feel like I'm not as strong as I want to be either right now.
Yeah.
Like I still have like a lot of strength goals that I'm working on. I trained through basically my whole pregnancy, like minus the survival modes of the first trimester and whatnot.
Yes.
But I find that the more muscle you have, the easier your body adjusts to the fluctuations, the less extreme the fluctuations are. That's what it feels like to me. Does that make sense?
That would
like,
make sense for sure.
And I mean, we know that like muscle mass helps with like insulin sensitivity. It has so many benefits. And so I found that it's like even the weight I did put on was not as bad. And like I was able to focus on like because of the nutrition side of things and the habits around nutrition, even if I wasn't being like really strict through pregnancy, because I have more muscle this pregnancy than I did before, like with Margot's pregnancy, it even just that in itself made a huge difference in the weight fluctuations that naturally happen through pregnancy and postpartum. I feel like that's almost what set me up to have such a different experience than even how I handled the pregnancy and postpartum itself, but how I set myself up for success beforehand.
That work you did beforehand. Yeah, that's so smart. It makes a lot of sense. And I just keep thinking about the scripture, by small and simple things are great things brought to pass. It really is all those little tiny habits, just like you said, takes you through wherever you're at. And then when life comes at you with like a different trial or something else, if you've already laid out a really solid foundation, then you're just setting yourself up for something so much better. I love
100%.
how you talked about figuring out what that looks like for you within your family dynamic. I always say, in my mind, I don't know how true this actually would be. I'm sure it's not. But in my mind, I'm like, if I didn't have children and if I didn't have a husband, this would be really easy. Like
we all thought that.
It'd be so easy to just like make choices about what I was going to eat. And I could have like hours of walking and exercising all day long, right?
Totally.
But realistically, I'd probably just be looking for a husband. So
different challenges then.
Exactly. So talk to us a little bit more about what it looks like for you. Like how has that, what does your day look like? I saw you're getting up earlier.
Oh my gosh.
Right now.
I'm trying. Yeah. It's funny because it's like I felt like I had a really good system before I had Archie, before I had my boy. And since having him, it's definitely like, okay, we've got to readjust a few things. We've got to figure out like what can stay the same and what needs to change. And so we've kind of been in this whole postpartum, like even 5 months in, like, and obviously too, because baby schedules change so quickly. It's like, even from that, like we're always having to
Yes.
reassess, and I'm always having to make adjustments and like, okay, that worked for a few months, but now it does not work anymore, you know?
Yes.
And even my kids going back to school, like in the summer, I had to outsource my meals. Like I was just like, I can't do it. That's just one thing I had to take off my plate. And we figured it out. Like financially, it almost made more sense because it was like that, or eating out because I have intentions to cook. And then when it doesn't happen, then what?
Yeah. Yep.
So it was like, okay, for that season, that's what we had to do. And
There's just someone who like preps macro family meals.
yeah, and there's a company. You're in St. George, right?
Yeah.
Or around St. George. I think they
Yep.
have a location down there, but there's a company called Fed Up Meals that I've
Oh,
been
okay.
using, and you just go pick it up twice a week, and it's literally been like my saving grace. Like, because I'm always like, and I tell my clients this too, like, you can have all the intention in the world to do something, whether it's to work out or to cook at home or whatever. But there's also an aspect of you have to be super realistic with yourself of
Yeah.
what are the chances of that happening.
Yeah.
And you're better to have that hard conversation with yourself and make adjustments from there, because for me, I was like, okay, I'm postpartum. I was like 6 weeks. I was like, I'm feeling good. I'm ready to like go back to the schedule we were on before. And for like a week, I like, planned my meals, did the grocery shopping. And then when it came down to it, and I had this like crying baby at 5 o'clock that needed to nurse, and you have to sit down and nurse for 40 minutes. I'm like, how, like,
Yeah.
what? Like, this is just not going to work right now. It's summertime. My girls are running around. Like, it's just,
Yeah.
so it's like being realistic and making adjustments to like what's actually going to work in your life, not always your best of intentions that
Yes.
might. And so that's what I tell my clients too. And is like, okay, well, like, let's be realistic. Like, what does that actually look like? Or what do your nights actually look like? And anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. I didn't answer your question about my schedule.
It was a good tangent.
No, but just recently I've started to try to wake up early, because as mothers, like, there's an aspect of there's always going to be sacrifice that has to come, right? Like, you're either sacrificing sleep or you're sacrificing an hour of time in your day or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And so Bentley has been working from home a lot. And so leading up to now, I've been able to like get my workout done in the afternoon when Archie's been napping, but he's getting ready to go back in office. And so I'm like, okay, we've got to make adjustments. Like, we're going to try this early morning thing. So then I come home and help get the kids ready for school. Archie gets up. We usually go on a walk at that point. And then from there, I'm either like working while he's napping, and that's where my time goes when I have free time. On Sundays or Mondays, I usually do my meal planning for the week. If I have to order groceries, that's usually when that happens. The biggest thing I preach is plan and prepare. If I can plan and prepare to set myself up for success, then that is far worth my time. And so that's what I try to do usually at the beginning of the week. And then sometimes when I am cooking at home, sometimes I have to do like food prep, like while my kids are still at school, because I know when 4 o'clock hits or I'm running my girls to practice or whatever, it's like, if I can do some of dinner prep earlier in the day to make throwing dinner together a lot easier, I'll do that. But anyway, that's like basically how my days go. We
Yeah.
usually try to do, like, I love to do like after lunch walks. And so like when I'm tracking my steps, like I try to get an outside walk in once or twice a day. Or when it's really warm, we'll go after dinner, and my kids will come, and that's like a total normal thing to do in our family. And so yeah, I don't know. It's I always like talk about like macros and, the steps things and like the after lunch walks, like all of that. I just talk about like tools in our tool belt that we know how to like access and use to like when we need it. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah, definitely. I love knowing how to add in things here and there as you can, because every day doesn't look the same.
Totally.
And I have found that probably the hardest thing as a mom, because I served a mission as well. And, that is very scheduled and very routine.
Mhm.
And I loved it. I absolutely loved being able to sit down and read my scriptures for a full hour, and that it looked like the ideal every day,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And then I came home and got married within a year, and then started having babies. And I was just like really missing that full hour of, this is
Mhm.
how my studies look. And then it's like the same with exercise. Ideally, I would have like a full, beautiful hour all to myself of exercising. And if I could get a full hour of scriptures and a full hour of exercise every day all to myself, like that would be the ideal, right? But that's not what I'm living at all.
Mhm.
And I have found, maybe other mothers are the same, if I'm not careful, I just find myself super frustrated, because that's where I've set my bar. And
Mhm.
then it's not happening, and it's not realistic, because I'm not a robot, and my children and my family also aren't robots.
Mhm.
So I love this idea. Okay, things are going to change, but we can still plan and prepare. So talk us through, as you went through your postpartum, what you do on a day where things aren't going as planned. You
Mhm.
you couldn't wake up early because you were, busy in the night with
Right.
sad or sick babies. What
Mhm.
are some of those like foundational things that you continue to do every day, even if it looks a little bit different?
Yeah. A couple things come to mind. Like the first thing is I imagine all of these things I'm trying to accomplish during the day as like dials. And if I can dial things down, basically saying it's not an all or nothing mindset. If I can dial things down a little bit or move a workout or um, kind of have like a bare minimum that I can
Yes.
try to do still, that's better than nothing. Like something is
Yes.
always better than nothing.
Yeah, and I definitely have the all or nothing mindset for sure.
Honestly, so like it's so common. I don't know what it is
It's
about
like it
that.
doesn't count unless
100%. And I think people like underestimate or don't fully like understand that a lot of progress, whatever that means, like whatever your goals are, a lot of progress can be made with the bare minimum to some extent. And so
Mhm.
it's like my bare minimum, if I had like a really crappy night of sleep, I may move a workout to a different day and just
So
be like,
like if it was leg day, you choose to do a rest day, or
yes, yes. Like I may be like, okay, so I currently train 4 days a week. So that
okay.
gives me a Wednesday usually and a Saturday to like move things around if I have to.
Okay.
And so yes, if I like am just like I cannot do it today, I'll move my workout completely to a different day and be like, but I'm going to focus on my steps. Like I'm going to make sure to do that like after lunch walk or whatever. Like I'm
Yeah.
still going to try to move my body. And like with that too is like specifically with like as mothers, like when you get woken up in the middle of the night, they're often coming to you.
Yes. They will
It's like,
walk right past dad.
oh, 100%
Because
every
he's not
time.
waking up.
No, every
When they
time.
even if they did talk to him, he's zonked out. It's a
Yes.
blessing they
I'm
get.
always like,
I'm
no,
so
dad
happy
can't
for
hear you.
them.
Come over here.
Exactly. I'm already awake.
Yeah,
You're I
somehow.
heard you coming in from like a mile away.
Every time. Every time. So it's like for like sleep, for instance, it's like I also tell myself that on a cellular level in my body, when you get less sleep, your hunger hormones go up. You're not like your satiety hormones go down. Like there are also things that I am so much hungrier today, and it's
Mm,
because I didn't get sleep last night. And sometimes just recognizing that
yeah.
almost helps me like stay on track. What again, whatever that looks like for whatever individual,
Yeah.
whether you're no matter what your goals are. And just sometimes I have to be like, I don't want to eat this meal I planned on cooking, but that's the plan. And so I'm just going to stick with it. My emotions are tired because I didn't sleep and I'm hungry, but I'm going to like stick to this plan and like override my emotions in this scenario.
My emotions are playing into this because like emotions and stress eating and stress not eating and all the things are so connected. So I do love, our brains are so powerful. I just keep learning that over and over again. Just recognizing and saying to yourself, like, I'm hungry today because I'm tired. You're just like, I'm not actually wanting to eat right now because I need to. It's just because I'm exhausted.
Totally.
It's so
Exactly.
helpful.
Which it's so stupid. Like, you don't want those things to be connected, but they are. Like,
Yeah, unfortunately.
yeah.
They really are. And like, I naturally don't eat if I'm stressed out. Like if my husband and I are in a fight or something, I'm like, cannot eat, or if I'm really anxious about something. So I'm glad my husband and I have a pretty good marriage. Otherwise, I would like never
Be
be eating.
starving.
Yeah. But it's just, they really are all connected. We are such emotional, spiritual, and physical beings, and as much as we want to be robots with our health in order to achieve losing weight or building muscle or whatever we want to look like or feel like, realistically, they are all so connected.
Absolutely.
So tell us just a few tips that you think have been helpful for all of your clients across the board. Maybe it's like a mindset shift or just like an easy tip.
Two things come to mind. One, protein, just focusing on protein. If there's nothing else you do, 99% of us don't get enough protein in.
Yeah.
And
It's
two,
interesting when you start tracking it.
oh yeah, 100%.
It's like, oh, wow, because like my mom, when I was growing up, she read, there's a lady, her last name is Schwartzfein, and she wrote this whole book about like fats and carbs and protein. And so my mom was very intentional about teaching us and having us have fats and proteins and carbs at every meal, and that like it was more heavy on the protein than carbs. And it was really great. My mom set us up really beautifully with a lot of foundational things, which I'm appreciative of. So I was always eating protein and fat, like I was, having all those things with every meal all the time. But when you actually start like figuring out how much protein, and then, when you get into macros, and I've never actually tracked like full on my macros. I usually just track my protein. But you're just really not getting a lot unless you're like really
you've got to be intentional about
choosing
it.
to getting a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah. Well, and I have clients come to me that don't know that cottage cheese is like a protein source, and even just things like that, like, oh, like it's not just meat and eggs, it's like, oh, I can have like these other things that are different that are still getting me protein. So protein 100% is like one of them. And then my
And
other
do you
one,
try to get like the typical, like, what is it, 0.8 to 1 something per pound of your weight?
Yeah, I usually go around there. I think right now, like personally, I'm almost 1-to-1. So, because I'm still trying to like lose fat, but I want to keep all my muscle as much as I can. So we kind of put the protein on a little bit of the higher side. But yeah, anywhere between 0.8 and 1, even 1.2 for some people, is, and I usually just try to like mentally divide that up by meals. It's easier to say, okay, 30 grams of protein in a meal plus a snack or something versus 150, 160 grams during the day. And then my other thing that I feel like everyone can benefit from, as far as like the mindset side of things, is understanding and recognizing that the food you're eating is fueling you. I feel like I've recognized in so many clients that they feel underfueled and in whatever exercise they were doing before. And when they're fueling themselves properly, they notice a difference in not only like their everyday life and their energy, but also like in their workouts. And it helps with that all or nothing mindset, I feel like. to say, okay, I ate a little, I went out to eat last night. I ate a little too much last night. That doesn't happen very often, but I'm going to have a really good workout today because those carbs are in my system, and being able to recognize it like that, I feel is a huge benefit to
I love
people.
that.
Yeah.
Love that. Yeah. Protein, and then recognizing that your food is fueling you. Okay. You can coach me for a minute on this. So I think, and maybe you can relate because you went to culinary school. Like, I think food is so fun. I absolutely I like to cook as well. And I love creating just beautiful meals and gathering people. I love hosting and gathering and having fun meals with the dessert and all the things. And then I have a husband who also loves food. He loves to eat out. And he just went off sugar for an entire year. So
Good for
that's
him.
amazing.
Yeah.
And so that's helpful because he's not wanting ice cream every night. But how have you managed, I guess, that just like the social aspect of food and wanting to have a good time? And that's like what kind of breaks me. I'm like, if I just like didn't socialize, I'd probably be fine.
Totally. It's so hard because I feel like well, this drives my husband crazy because when we have conversations like this, my first answer is always, it depends. Like, it depends. And he's like, no, that's not an answer. But it depends because it's like people who have really strict goals at the time, like, are gonna have to handle social situations differently than someone who's eating at maintenance or whatever, But I'm the same way. I am a foodie. I love food. My husband loves food. And like I always joke, I cannot do a bodybuilding diet. I cannot do the like boiled chicken and, potato
Broccoli.
and broccoli. Yes, like that. I cannot do it. I will never be able to do it. That is just not me.
Yeah.
And so I love good food. And when I first started getting into macros and nutrition, like right around when I had Gemma, so like 2017, you were kind of just like on your own. Like it was kind of just like figure it out. There wasn't a ton of resources, like, and all that type of stuff. Where nowadays there are so many good resources that you can use that are good food. And so, like,
I feel like culturally we are getting better at taking out some of the toxic things in our food.
Totally.
Slowly. There's a lot of options, for like non-food coloring and organic, and then even beyond that, like there's even restaurants that are like macro friendly restaurants and
totally
stuff, like people are recognizing that there's a lot of people who are trying to make better choices.
100%. And so I just think like when it comes to, because I'm the same way, like I'm the oldest in my family. Like I have 3 younger brothers. I love to have them come over and I'll feed them. Like, it's like I love to do that. And so I lean to taking control of the situation and being like, okay, well, let's do this, but I'm going to cook so I know what I'm eating. And if I am tracking my macros or if I am being like stricter at the time, I can track it and it's almost like they don't even know. If I can take control of the situation, then I will. And even with going out, it varies with your goal and how strict you're being at the time. But even when we're going out, my family, they joke because it's like, okay, we're doing family dinner tonight. Well, let's decide where we're going. So like Alexa can plan, because that's just, and plus like even completely aside, like I'm just a planner in general. Like I'm totally oldest child type A in that way. And so it's like, well, okay, so where are we going to go? So I can plan and work it into my day. And then when we're there in the moment, I'm not stressing about what I'm eating because I took a little time beforehand. And now I can just enjoy the moment and order what I planned on ordering and everyone's happy. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
Some people may feel like that's like a bit much, but in the world today of just like abundance everywhere, anything important requires some sort of like intention. Like you have to be intentional with,
Yes,
you
yes.
know, as dumb as it sounds, like with nutrition and food, like especially in the, um, you know, a lot of people are trying to lean into this intuitive eating and trying to kind of bash tracking, which not everyone should track. I don't believe that. But it's like you were saying with the protein thing, you know, like
Yeah,
how
it's
can
just a
you intend,
tool.
yes,
Yeah,
and how can you intentionally eat if you don't know that cottage cheese has protein? You know what I mean?
exactly.
Like,
Exactly. Yeah, no, I love all that. And like even just the other day, I started tracking my fiber because women are
mm,
supposed to get 25 grams of fiber a day.
mhm.
And if any of you have tried to track that, I was like, holy
It's so
crap.
hard. You don't realize it.
And if
It's
you're trying to,
crazy.
I was like, wow, I'm trying to. So like I said, I just tracked the protein and I was tracking the fiber. And I was like,
Mhm.
I am going to be so full. Like, how can I even eat this much protein
Yeah,
and this much fiber?
totally.
So I love what you're saying that like anything important that we want to do in life is going to require sacrifice and effort. It's really hard. I find it really hard because there's so many good things in life to care about.
Mhm.
And, you know, I'm trying so hard to have a relationship with God, have a good relationship with my husband, have a good relationship with each of my children, and fulfill all their needs. And on top of that, you know, homeschool and be
Mm,
online and all these things that I feel important about. And I feel like
mhm.
God has like pushed me in all these directions that are important for me. And it's
Mhm.
going to look different for everybody what those things are, but all of them are going to require effort and sacrifice. And
Mhm.
I loved what you said that it depends on how strict your goals are at the time, because like if you are in like needing to lose weight, then you're going to have to make some sacrifices somewhere, you know, and
Mhm.
whether
Mhm.
that's socially or you don't lose the weight and you feel crappy, you know.
Mhm. Yeah.
So I mean, everything good comes with sacrifice. So that's a
Mhm.
good perspective, because I think just like you said, there is so much abundance of everything around us, and um I think we naturally just want things to be easier than they are, you know.
Mhm.
And
100%.
definitely with my health, I just feel like there's so many things I'm focusing on, and I'm just like, can't that one thing be easy? You know,
I
can't just
know.
eating be easy?
I know. It's like, unfortunately, it's takes more effort to, like, not eat everything in front of you, you
Oh,
know?
oh yeah.
And
But
so
like that
it's
discipline like pours into so many aspects of our lives, and I think
mhm.
it's so important from a spiritual perspective. A couple conferences ago, I don't remember exactly which one, but President Nelson talked about our addictions, and he talked
Mhm.
about like not being addicted to anger and food. And I was like, whoa. Like
Mhm.
that just really, I mean, obviously I've thought about food as an addiction, but to hear it in the same list as like drugs and pornography and anger and food, and I was like, oh
Mhm.
my gosh, like this is a big deal, and this is
Mhm.
something like it feels like a fight because it actually is a fight.
100%. And I think that's, like, a good way to put it because I feel like a lot of people come to me and think by hiring a coach, it's going to,
It
like,
died.
solve these
Just go
problems.
plug.
That should make it easier, like, that should be what solves their problem, but it's like, I'm just there for support and guidance, like, it's
Yeah,
still all the work still has to come
it's
from
still on
you,
you.
and I don't know, for some reason, I feel like people almost get uncomfortable with that a little bit, like,
Interesting.
I
Well, I could see
back
that,
to
like, thinking even about, like, medical. So, like, we outsource our, like, health in a lot of ways,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like, we're like, "Oh, I'm sick. I have no idea what's happening. I'm gonna go to the doctor, and they're gonna figure it out."
they'll solve
You
my
know?
problems.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then they're, like, totally just blown away if the doctor can't figure out what's happening or something,
Mhm.
you know? And, like, yeah, I think as a society, we naturally want to outsource so many things because it's
Mhm.
easier.
100%, and I think, you know, people want to be able, back to the intuitive eating thing, you know, like, people want this life of, I can just, you know, eat what I want, eat what sounds good, if I'm intuitive about it, then I shouldn't be gaining weight, and um I think you know, I think tracking macros makes a lot of people be real about their habits, And
Mhm.
sometimes that makes people uncomfortable, you
Yeah.
know, like, oh, if I track, whether it's consciously or subconsciously, both. Oh, well, if I track my food, then I'll realize, head on the decisions I'm making, and almost like
It
forcing
can
you to take accountability for those
exactly.
decisions you're making. Like, where if I don't track, if I'm intuitively eating that, then sometimes, not
Yeah,
always,
no. But I totally get what you're
sometimes
saying.
it makes me feel as a coach like people are not wanting to take accountability for their
Yeah.
decisions when it comes to their health, if that makes
Which
sense.
yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. And I think, I'm definitely guilty of it at times too, of um just not wanting to actually see everything that
Mhm,
I'm doing.
mhm,
Like it's easier to just be like, "Oh, I cannot lose the weight. It must be the hormones or it must be this or that." When
totally.
when that could be a factor. Like that is
Mhm,
definitely a factor in some
mhm,
cases. Like there's a lot of health issues going on.
mhm.
Um but also to buckle down and actually see what you're eating and how much. It can just be overwhelming or
Yeah.
hard to swallow.
Yeah, 100%, and I think that applies to all, like, lifestyle factors, like,
Exactly.
it's not
It's
of
like my
course,
phone,
food is
like
a
if
huge aspect. Yes,
like when you
exactly.
track like exactly how much time you're using on your phone, when you look at
Mhm.
that. Like I try to get my like screen time down and every week it's like way up there and I'm like, "What the heck?"
Like,
Like
how
I
did this
really
even
wasn't on
happen?
my phone that much this week. I felt like.
Totally. Totally. It's like, yeah, everything like that is way too easy nowadays.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah, it's too
I
easy to
don't
eat
know.
too much, too easy to be on your phone too much,
Yeah,
too
yeah,
easy to not, spend as much time in like our scripture. Like I feel this is just one of Satan's distractions, right? Not
100%.
doing the things that are gonna actually serve us, and they're the
Yeah.
harder things. They're always the harder thing that's
Mhm.
actually gonna benefit us.
Totally. And it's like something along, like, not to change, like, kind of changing the subject, but not really. It's in the same vein. But I've been thinking about this a lot lately. Like, and Bentley laughs at me because, like, so many things I'm like, yes, it is just like fitness or nutrition, or like I can relate everything,
Yeah,
some sort of life lesson,
yeah.
to like
You
my
learn a
work.
lot when you start
Yes.
taking care of yourself.
You do. You do. And so my current, like, spiritual and physical connection of, like, how similar it is I was sitting in church the other week and I started thinking about consistency and how both spiritual, like our relationship with God, and physically and our physical health, like, the most success we have with both things is when we're being consistent with it. And it goes like in the other extreme, like I always joke, like, every time you are going on a trip, or it's almost summer, like a lot of people reach for, I
Get your
always call it
bikini
like
body
this.
back.
Yes, like the 6 weeks to sexy, like that's what I like
Yes,
reference, like,
yes, yes, yes.
and I feel like the spiritual version of like 6 weeks to sexy is like when you go through a trial and you're like, I'm gonna lean, i
Ooh,
haven't
I love
i
that.
haven't prayed in a long time, but I'm going through a trial now and I know
Yeah,
I can like lean on God, which he still wants. Like, that's not
yeah.
a bad thing.
And often that's why he gives them to us. He's like,
Yes,
"Hey, like I can see you're being a little bit distant."
exactly, exactly. And so, we lean on God when we are, like, quote unquote desperate, when we
Mhm.
have trials or when we need the prayers or whatever.
Yep,
And
it's a lot easier.
it's the same with the physical health. Like, we lean on the 6 weeks to sexy when we're like, okay, it's time to rein it in. But it's like,
Mhm.
no, if you were establishing these really consistent habits throughout the year,
Yes.
then it's like, how do we feel and where are we at spiritually and our relationship with God when those trials come, if we've been consistent leading up to it, you
Okay,
know
yes, I love this. This is so good. I love it. A while back, like I said, I'm a very social eater. Like I love to sit down and eat with my family. Like dinner is the
Mhm.
best. But I find breakfast and lunch really annoying. I'm just now we got to figure out what to eat and feed all these people. Like I said to my sister years ago, I was like, "Why do you think we have to eat so many times a day? Like why couldn't we just eat less? Like why?" And then she was like, "I think it's a reminder because like our spiritual health also needs to be fed frequently, you know, and we need to be praying frequently. We need to be reading our scriptures frequently. And I loved that little connection. And when if I don't read my scriptures for like a good period of time, just like you said, like it makes it a lot harder. And it's just like exercise, you know, where like you're not getting as much out of it, or like you don't have the desire to do it. Consistency is definitely the name of the game. I had a guy come on here who's from England, and he is a faith fitness coach. He said a few weeks back, I saw one of his posts, and he said there's 112 days left in the year. And I don't know how many we're at now. That was probably 3 weeks ago or something. But he said, like, what could you do with these 112 days? And I love this, and I would love to challenge anyone listening. You know, let's figure out how many days are left in the year, like these next 3 months, like dial it in. If you can make habits during this time of the year, you're going to feel so much more accomplished, because this is the hardest time of the year, right? Physically, with all the social events and treats and things happening. Like if we can make it through this, then we can totally do it. So when he said that, I set my goal to get up at 6 again, and I started doing this new exercise of just this lady on YouTube, and I was like, I can do this. It feels so manageable rather than like a full year goal. It was like, I can totally like dial this in for 3 months, you know?
Totally. Well, and it's funny too, because there's like studies done and stuff that actually, if you work on building a new habit when life is crazy, it actually sticks more than if you wait until like the perfect time to do it.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same thing, right? Like so many people are like, oh, okay, you know, we're in the middle of October, so Halloween is in 2 weeks. And then, you know, 3 weeks after that is Thanksgiving, and then it's Christmas. So I'm just going to wait till January. And it's like, okay, so Halloween's one day out of the next 2 weeks. So what could you even accomplish in the next 2 weeks leading up to Halloween?
Yeah.
You know, like it's.
Yeah, even if you did just throw everything to the wind on Halloween.
Yeah.
Like,
It's like, that's
is
one
better than
day.
nothing. Yeah.
Yes, that is literally one day out of the next 3 weeks that you're stressed about. So you're going to put off all your goals, you know, because of anyway. But it's like, that's just how our minds think. Like
we're like, oh, it's the holiday season, and you just like lump all of it rather than doing what you can. I like that. Yeah, that makes sense.
Because it's like, in all reality, okay, so today's October 14th. Like in all reality, the holiday season, call it starting now, is Halloween. Okay, maybe you have one more Halloween party in there somewhere, whatever.
Yeah, you have like your ward party.
Yeah,
you have actual
something.
Halloween. And maybe you have like a friend party or something.
Right. Okay. So maybe 3 days. Okay. Then it's like Thanksgiving. Okay. Maybe you have a Friendsgiving. Okay. So now we're like 6 weeks. There's 5 days out of 6 weeks. And then it's like, okay, a couple of Christmas parties, but it's like, in all reality, it is not the majority of your, the next 4 months or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. And I loved what you said about like, there is going to have to be sacrifices because that's just like the world that we live in, you know. The abundance is around. And even say you are baking a lot through December. I loved your tip of you taking control. My husband went off sugar, and I'm going with him. I've stopped eating sugar as well. And it's actually not as hard as I thought it would be. We started on like the 28th of September. And it was his birthday yesterday. So he just had me make this cake that was just sweetened with maple syrup. And it was so funny. It's like oatmeal and, you know, eggs. So it's like dairy-free, gluten-free, refined sugar-free cake. And it was absolutely delicious to me and him because we've been off sugar. My mom loved it. Our kids were like, no, it's not my favorite. But, you know, some of them made it too. But it was just like, I kept saying to him beforehand, like, he's such an all or nothing person.
Yeah.
So when he sets his mind to something, like, it is set and it's going to be fabulous. And so that's why I love joining him for any of the goals that he does. I'm just like, yes, because you're going to be 100% on board. And so that makes it easier for me.
Yeah, totally.
You know?
Exactly. Yeah.
So I'm like, any goal you have, I'm in on it. So
I love that.
I'm like, great, I can do this. But what about Christmas? And what about our birthdays? Like, what is that? You know, I'm just trying to plan. I'm a planner as well. He's not a planner. But I'm like trying to plan what that looks like. And he's like, I don't know, it's going to be fine. We're just going to figure it out. And so we made it through the birthday and it was totally fine. Of course it was fine. You know, it wasn't like it was anything less. I don't know. I just feel like it can be easy to get caught up in like, this is how something needs to look. Like, we need to have this food, or, you know, like we really are just addicted in certain ways.
So, like, along with that a little bit too, like, I feel like I'm saying like a lot right now too. But
our
I
little
feel
Provo Valley girls.
I know. It just sticks with us. I don't know what to say.
we can't do anything about it. Sorry, we try.
Oh my gosh, no, it's true. But I feel as if we overestimate what people are going to think about us, and we overestimate that people are going to cue into certain things. If you go to a party and you don't pick up a dessert, or you even on the very extreme end of bringing your own food, that's very extreme. Not many of my clients have to do that, but obviously people do. And
bodybuilders are bringing their boiled chicken.
Exactly. Like most of the time, people don't even bat an eye. Yeah. And we get ourselves so worked up over a certain situation, a social occasion, a party. What am I going to do? Like, I don't want to throw everything off. It usually is like overdone in our brains.
Like, we definitely tend to overthink things when it's just going to be just fine. Or even like, you know, in my situation, I was just thinking like it was going to be too hard, but like it was not a big deal at all. I don't know. It's like, I guess even drugs and stuff, right? Like, or drinking, there would be people who would look at us as members, right? And they're just like, how on earth would you not drink? You know, like, how do you do anything you do without drinking? And like, you've just said no, you've made a decision, and so you just do it, you know? And food is a little bit more complex, obviously, because we do have to eat it still. Right. And it's not as easy as drugs. But if you make your mind up about something, you can do it. You know, again, our brains are so powerful. And if you want to feel different and look different, then do it. You can totally do it. Anyone can do it. You know, I loved just your tip about just create the habits, even if your day doesn't go as you planned.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. No, I agree. Yeah.
Here's the other thing that I struggle with: fitness and the whole fitness realm. And you're definitely more in it than I am. But tell us about how to find the balance of like taking your care of yourself versus just like being vain and just like wanting to look good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's obviously people struggle with that, you know, and I believe that there's extremes in both scenarios. It's really funny because, you know, people will say, oh, I'm gonna start training for a marathon. And I feel like people don't really bat an eye about that.
No, everybody's very happy about it. You know, it's like, that's a very commendable thing to do.
Exactly. Yeah. But when it comes to physique goals, I feel like, again, it kind of makes people uncomfortable.
Like, or like just tracking macros, they're just like, oh, that's so restrictive.
That's like, too extreme.
It's going to cause eating disorders. Yes. Which I think, I mean, again, this isn't for everybody all across the board. Yes, it could cause eating disorders or be disordered eating for some people.
Yes, exactly. I haven't publicly like expressed this, but like I full on planning on prepping for a bodybuilding show in the future. And so I've had to kind of like play with this exact topic a little bit, you know, like, okay, how do I do this?
Why am I doing this?
Yes. Why am I doing it? Like how, anyways, because I never want to live in the extremes, even though bodybuilding is like literally an extreme sport.
Yeah.
Like that is
but
like
for
what
a
it's categorized.
time.
Yes, exactly. You're not living in that stage lean for forever. Anyways,
Yeah.
but I feel like, expressing that to people like, oh, I'm going to do this, or I want to build out I want to have like defined shoulders. And then people are like, oh,
Yeah.
But in my eyes, like it is a goal I'm working towards, just as training for a marathon would be.
Yeah, that's such an interesting thing because culturally we totally view those things differently, huh?
Yes,
It's
exactly.
like you see bodybuilders and you're like kind of freaked out and you're just like they're very vain. Like you're just like
Yeah,
they're
you
so
just
obsessed with
assume.
their bodies. But
Yeah.
whereas like, someone else can be running marathons like all the time and they're putting in just as much time and thought and energy into that.
hmm
But for some reason that's like so commendable.
Yeah,
So that's interesting.
exactly. Yeah. It is. It's crazy. And so like of course, and I'm really grateful for my husband because we always are checking each other. Like
Yeah.
if he ever felt like it got to a point where
You're
like
shirking responsibilities and not
exactly, like
taking care of your children.
yes,
Yeah.
I'm dropping the ball somewhere else, like he would call me out on it.
Yeah.
But it's again, so I look at it as, and even when I like work with my clients who are not bodybuilders and I'm like, well, what are your goals? Like, do you have any like body, like muscle parts that like you want to work on? And sometimes they're like, that's
Am I
not
allowed
like,
to do that?
yeah, like what? Like sometimes they have to think about it because it's like, but or even like, I want to do 20 push-ups. It's like that's a goal, like a strength goal that you can work on. Or I want to get a pull-up. Like a lot of my clients like that are females are like, I want to do a pull-up. Like
I
that's
know.
hard,
It is so hard. I
It's
cannot do one.
so
I
hard.
want to
And
get a
so
pull up.
yeah. And it's like I just look at it like goals like that. And then I think on top of that, like on a spiritual side of things, having a physical goal, no matter what it is hard. And I think the lessons that you can learn from a spiritual side of it and a mental side of it, like the discipline and all of that, can seep into other aspects of your life in a really positive way.
100%.
I read a quote recently that was like, if you don't choose your hard, the world will choose it for you.
Hmm.
Not, and I didn't take that as you are exempt from trials because you choose to do something hard
Yeah.
yourself, but I take it as you choose to doing something hard yourself increases your like capacity. And so when trials do
Exactly.
come, you feel like you can handle it and take it on. And I kind of look at it, I've experienced that personally, even just the confidence that comes with applying discipline,
Exactly. Just like the
you know?
mental strength, right?
Yes,
Can
exactly.
bleed into everything that you do.
Exactly. So I think like I have, backtracking a little bit, like obviously you've got to check yourself. Like so it's not going to one extreme. And
Mhm.
two, like I think God always like well, not always. I guess you can have negative goals, but like if you're looking to improve yourself,
Yeah.
even physically because of the mental side that comes with it,
Yep.
I think God looks positively on that,
Well, and also you're taking charge of your health too. Obviously, just taking care of yourself, no matter how, you're going to look better. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Mhm.
It's like even with like fashion or makeup, those things in and of themselves aren't bad. It's
Yeah.
just the extremes of just making them too much.
Yeah. Well, yeah, totally. So it's interesting. And there's no question there's a fine balance.
Yeah.
Um, but I think there's nothing wrong with having physique goals. And like I feel like currently right now I spend less time in the gym than I was 10 years ago when I thought I was trying to get healthy,
Yeah. Interesting.
I spend less time in the gym. I feel more confident. It's always sounds like a cliche, but I feel like a better mom. Like I feel like I'm mentally there for them. I even feel like we always talk about being a team in our family. And my daughters are in competitive cheerleading and we all go and we support them. And it's
Mhm.
almost like giving them a chance to support mom do something, doing something hard. And like, in the lessons I've been able to relay to them, even through this, like,
Yes.
I sometimes we have to do things we don't want to do. I didn't want
Yes.
to go to the gym this day, but that's just something that mommy does. And you have to go to practice because your teammates are counting on you. And it's just,
Yeah.
I really do feel like the lessons outside of the physique goals you may have or whatever,
Yeah.
really do like
100%.
bleed in everywhere.
Yeah. That discipline, it's hard to be disciplined. And,
Mm-hmm.
and so,
Well,
it definitely.
and back to just, again, talking about the world we live in, not a lot of things naturally are challenging you in that way anymore. Like with the instant gratification, like you don't really have to have patience for anything. Like Amazon just started delivering things same day to me, and I'm like, I don't have to exercise any patience. Like,
it's insane.
It's insane. And so it's like,
I
there's
can have
not
my
a lot of
groceries
things
delivered.
Yes.
I can have my house cleaned. Like, you can outsource so many things.
Yes. So it's almost like a skill that I feel like we don't have to exercise as much anymore. And so I don't know.
Yeah. I love to hear that you're also feel like you're spending less time than you were previously in the gym. And that is always my question. With all these people that we see that are so physically fit, how much time does that actually take?
Well, it depends. One,
of course it would. Like genetics would play into that.
Yes,
like,
yes.
My husband has like the most muscular legs, and he like essentially does nothing, and they just stay muscly. So there is definitely some genetics that play into that.
100%. There's that, and also just like accumulative time. Like people who are doing it for years and years and years are like naturally going to look better.
I was thinking about that earlier. I was like, I actually just wonder if it's just that they've built all these small habits that I'm trying to build, but they've just been doing it for the last 10 years.
Yeah, it's so funny because like women are always like, I don't want to look bulky, but then it's like you kind of like start getting a taste of muscle and you're like, no, I want more muscle, and you realize like you don't just like accidentally get bulky. Like it's actually really hard to put on muscle. It doesn't just happen.
For sure.
So yeah, like it's accumulative, like years and years and years. And then I also think there's smarter ways of training that fall into this too. Like you can accomplish a lot in like 30 minutes.
Yeah. I was just thinking that too, because I have exercised like my entire life. Like I've been in the habit all through my pregnancies, up and down and stuff. But definitely like the way I'm training can ebb and flow.
Yes, exactly. And that's something too that I like specialize in, is like, I don't know, there's kind of like an optimal crowd on Instagram, like the scientific lifting, and there's again even extremes within that. But it's like if you're spending 30 minutes in the gym, there's exercises and things you can do that are like more efficient than other things. Sense. So it's like don't waste your time doing, I don't know, like a bicep curl if you're wanting to grow your legs. That's like a dumb example, but you know what I mean,
like, I mean, we inadvertently do that to ourselves if we're not being intentional.
Yeah. So, and that's why I've gone this like really optimal route, is because I don't want to waste my time.
Yeah.
And that's extremely important to me. Like, yes, as a mom and everything else on our plate, like I am not gonna waste time in the gym.
You don't have like 2 hours in the gym.
Yes.
How long are your workouts that you do? So you lift 4 times a week. Are they an hour each?
45 to 60 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I usually try to get my steps in like at home. Like I will try to stay on my feet, we'll go on walks, but like all of that time is usually like, I'm not really going and like getting on the treadmill to like get my steps in. Very rarely.
Yeah. How many steps are you trying to get?
I
Depends.
always am. It depends. Like
I love it.
when I was breastfeeding, I was maxing out at like 7,500, and
Yeah.
slowly as like I've been pumping and bottle feeding,
Mhm.
it's like increasing a little bit. But like when I was pregnant and before, it was 10K. But you know, anywhere
Yeah.
between 8 and 10,000 is like kind of where I shoot for.
Yeah. I love that. And like as hard as it is, like we don't want the answer like it depends, right? Like we just want like everybody to have a clear cut like this is how you're going to get fit. Just do it. But obviously what I'm hearing over and over again in this conversation is that like everybody is so different. We know that. And we know even spiritually, right? Like God speaks to us differently and we like have different gifts and talents and like it is really important to tune in and figure out what works for you or like get Alexa as your coach and have her help you figure it out because there's not a bunch of time to waste.
Yeah.
and I love taking care of my physical health. I haven't arrived there. I'm not just like perfect at taking care of myself. But
I mean, me either. Like we all have our moments.
Yeah. It is so good to feel good and figure out like what a few changes are for you that make you feel better. I'm deep into the holistic realm and
Me too.
have been for lots of years and love it. But I actually felt really strongly that before I got pregnant again, I needed to go to this doctor that's here. And she's just a functional medicine doctor who specializes like in women's hormones and stuff. And I started working with her at the beginning of the year. I had been running. I ran a half marathon like last November. And so I had been running, but she was, you actually should stop running and you should start walking. And then she said do like Pilates, but I just have been doing lower impact, just like weightlifting. And that made a huge difference for me. It really helped my adrenals. My stress was just way too high. And my like Epstein bar, which is mono, was active. And it just it's important to figure out what is actually going to work for you, because we hear all sorts of things on Instagram about what we need. and so I think it's important to get someone like you in your corner who can actually help you figure out the ways that you're sabotaging yourself or or whatever.
Well, and I always like want women to know that like that doesn't have to be like a luxury. Like that should not be
after all the children are gone and you have hours.
Yes, like that. Yeah, like one, it's never going to be convenient. Even after you have all the kids, you're going to have high schoolers and, carpool and whatever. Like it's just never going to be convenient.
Yeah, or like grandbabies or like
yes, exactly.
Like there's never going to be a good time. They always say that.
Yeah. And I often feel like moms, especially, taking care of themselves comes last. And that's not how it should be.
Yeah.
Like you deserve it. Like you are literally taking care of everybody. Like you deserve to take care of yourself. That should not be a luxury. That should be like a must,
a priority. Yeah.
Yes.
That's why like I just have learned over and over, like I have to get up early and I am not a morning person. It is so hard.
It's terrible.
I've said this in multiple episodes, but the good Lord has been telling me for like a long time, like many years. Aina, get up early. It's going to help you. And I go through times of like, a couple months being solid and then I just, fall out of the routine again. Like it makes the biggest difference to get up and take care of yourself and to take care of yourself in the hard way, right? Like not self-care of just like, I'm going to eat a donut in the bathtub, or like I'm going to go get my nails done.
I'm totally like, guess what? Sometimes
do those
that
things
has to
too.
like,
do those things too, but also
balance
like,
and everything. Like
you have to do the hard things so that you feel good consistently.
Yeah, no, I agree. And like with that, it's like with finding the perfect time, like again, I think it's because it makes people uncomfortable or they just really don't want to do it. So, but it's like as parents, like even my husband, when he goes to the office, guess when he's working out, it's either in the morning or at night. And so it's just as parents in general, sometimes it's kind of that's the way it is. You've got to, there's going to be some sacrifice of your time and your sleep, most likely. Like, and that's just,
buckle
I
up
don't
and
know any way, unless you want to pay
do
for a
it.
babysitter. Like, I don't know any other way around it,
Yeah, I love it.
So,
This was a great
sometimes that's hard
conversation.
for people to hear, I think. That's just like,
It
sometimes
is.
it's hard.
It
It's
is.
hard.
Yep. And yeah, I really like, that you've given us some good solid direction, because it is hard, and going back to just how easy everything is, that we
Yeah.
can get a package that we thought of, oh, I want this thing, and then it's at our house a few hours later. Like, that's insane, right?
Yeah.
Like, when you think back to like how hard some of our ancestors had it's insane. We don't have to
Insane.
sew our own clothing.
No.
We're not literally producing every single thing we eat. It's insane.
Yeah, it literally is.
So
And
I
even
think
with
it's
like
hard.
the Instagram thing, it's like specifically with fitness, like people make it look easy. And so when you think, oh, it's not that easy for me,
It's
I'm
not
not
that
going to do
easy for
it.
anyone. Yeah.
It's not that easy. Or if it is easy for someone, it didn't start out that way.
Yeah.
Like they've really worked up to that. And it's like, even looking back to like my journey and where I was 5 years ago, it's crazy, but you just do it. I don't know.
Yeah. I love it. Small and simple things are great things
Yes,
brought to pass.
exactly.
And you're just going to be somewhere beautiful if you continue to like just do something rather than nothing,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
just go for a little walk. If you're only getting 5,000 steps in a day, not only, I don't know, to whatever it is, like get them in, because it literally
Yes.
is better than just like throwing in the towel and not doing anything.
Exactly. And like I know I could keep talking about this forever, so just tell me when to stop. But like it's like with that too, and with the all or nothing mindset, people also want to jump from, oh, I'm getting 2,000 steps right now, but everyone on Instagram's getting 10,000 steps, so that's my new goal. It's like,
Yes.
no, let's start with it. Like, let's start with these little sustainable habits. We don't have
Exactly.
to make these big life-changing jumps all at once that then we fail because it was not realistic or whatever. But it's like, no, just start with something small and build upon it, like literally what you're saying. Like, anyway. Yeah.
Amen. I love it. So good. Is there a quote that you have loved over the years that you feel like has gotten you through, or one that you've loved lately?
This is, yes. And it's a quote that like sometimes I think about it and I'm like, this doesn't really make sense. But then there's just like, it always speaks to me. It's from my mission president, actually. And he used to always say, we're here to become as God is. And in every aspect of my life, and again, comparing the physical and the spiritual, I feel like my whole like motto in life is just improvement. How can I improve? Even if it's 1% every day, how can I continue to slowly improve and become more as God is? Even though we're never going to be perfect, we're never going to get there. But I think God cheers us on when we are slowly and surely improving ourselves in every way.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. My motto for this podcast is that we're becoming the mothers that God intended us to be. And I really believe that God has expectations and desires for us. Slowly, He's trying to lead us to where He wants us so that we can become who we like really came here to be. Like I think so frequently of like, when we do go back and the veil's removed, like I'm so curious to know what expectations we had of ourselves, because like I really believe that all of us were like pumped to come down. Before I had my first little girl, I felt so strong. We got pregnant after 2 weeks of being married.
Oh my gosh.
Because
That's
one,
crazy.
we thought maybe it would take a little longer, but I am very fertile. And two, like I was sitting there in the temple and like I felt so strongly that she was pumped to come down here. That she was just
It's
like,
like, let's do it. I'm
yes, like,
ready.
let's go. And like knowing her, like that's 100% her energy. And I
Oh
believe
man, so
all of
sweet.
us were like that, you know, that like we
Mhm.
were really excited to come down here and become like who God wants us to be. We weren't just like
Mhm.
gonna come down here and scroll Instagram and hang around, you know, like we
For
have
sure.
things to do. Satan just wants to distract us so much.
Mhm.
And also, I think that he wants us to think the all or nothing. You know, like if you're not
Mhm.
perfect, stop trying.
Mhm.
If you, you know, can't wake up at 6:15 doesn't count. 6:30
Mhm.
doesn't count, you know?
Mhm.
One verse or one prayer doesn't count.
No, absolutely. It makes me think of like the parable of the talents too. Like, and I consider coming down to earth and getting our body part of that. Like, okay, you have this like amazing gift of a
Yeah,
body. What are you going to do with
exactly.
it?
What are you gonna do with it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you gonna be a good steward? Are you gonna be in control of it? Or are you gonna
Mhm.
let screens and abundance of food and sugar kind of overtake you?
Mhm. One of my favorite talks from conference, just barely, was Elder Bednar's talk, where he talked about what did he say? Like he said it really well, but like all of God's creations are either to be you're supposed to like take action or to be acted upon.
Oh, huh?
Do you know what I'm talking? I can't remember like exactly
I
how
don't
he
remember what he
said it
said either,
off the
but
top of my head, but basically we are the creatures that are to take action, not to be
yeah.
acted upon.
Yeah.
And I think it's so easy now to be acted upon, just like
Yes.
in the world and not taking action or accountability or whatnot and just kind of let the world happen to
Happened
us.
to us. Yeah.
Again, even with like improving, like you
Yeah,
can't
in
improve and become better in spiritual, physically, mentally, in any way if you are not acting.
yes. Yes, we are agents sent here to
Mhm.
act for ourselves. I was
Exactly.
listening to a podcast a few weeks ago that was talking about how everything God made, and if he like waves his hand, then it will move, right? Like a mountain will move or water will do this. Like
Mhm.
everything obeys God.
Mhm.
Everything has a spirit, the trees, the rocks, and they all obey God. And that God gave us our agency. And it was one of the most beautiful, important gifts that he could have given us
Mhm.
because he could have just controlled us with a wave of his
Mhm.
hand. Just recognizing that the only thing we can give back to him is our will. It's just so fascinating that he gave it to us, and all he wants for us is to give it back.
Mhm.
And um just like you're saying, being agents and, choosing to do something rather than nothing, and choosing
Mhm.
to act and choosing to be close to God and to ask him what he wants of us,
Mhm.
and then do the thing, because it's usually hard. It's usually not just hanging around. I felt very called to homeschool my children, and I feel very called to do this podcast. And
Mhm.
I have felt it very important to take care of my health and my children's health and to try to feed us well. And
Mhm.
all those things feel like too much. It
Yeah.
just feels like, how can I keep up on all of these things, God? But like, I really feel strongly like I can't let any of them go. They're all
Mhm.
what we need.
Yeah.
And he doesn't ask us to just like hang out and do easy things. So
Mhm.
frequently he asks us to take the harder road because he knows that that's where the joy is, like
Mhm.
that's where we feel our best and where we connect to people who need us, and where we are creating this important life with meaning.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I love that. I love that so much. And it's even when we feel called to do things like that doesn't mean it's going to be easy. Just
Yeah,
because you feel called to do something doesn't mean it's going to be smooth sailing, you
yeah,
know. I agree. And that's when we rely on him too, right?
exactly. Exactly, over and
It's
over he's
and
teaching
and
us that we
yes,
need
and it's like
him.
Bentley and I always talk about it because and it's always just you figure it out. My little brother, he just had a baby and it's their first, and he's been so worried about it and all this. And we're just like, you just figure it out. You become a parent, you just figure it out. You have two, you
It's a
just kind of
wild concept.
figure it out. I don't know, whether it's through your own ability, well, both through your abilities and through God, like you just figure it out. I don't know, but it's like, I don't know how it works out, but it just does. And sometimes that's how it feels, though. Even when it's really hard, this is so hard, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but it just works out.
Slowly but surely.
Yeah.
Yes. I love it. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us and
Of course.
share so much. I could keep
Yeah.
going and going,
I
but
know.